So if you look over to the sideboard here, this is where I keep my subjects and my assignments and daily agenda of what we're doing. So which one do you guys think you'll be? Geometry. You betcha, the third one down, second from the bottom. If you look over here at Fun Sock Friday today, the 14th of August, we did the syllabus. Then we have this SWBA. Who knows what that stands for? Schroeder.
Students will be able to.
Awesome. Students will be able to. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to
Do nothing.
know and draw points, lines, segments, and rays. This is section 1.1. We are not going to finish this section today, and that is okay with me. Okay? I don't plan on finishing this one today, but I just wanted to let you know we are starting this off. Okay?
They say you don't have homework.
Yeah, we won't have extra homework besides their syllabus. Okay? So, in geometry, we have these a lot of terms. So geometry is a lot of vocab, okay? Algebra was a lot of processes and a lot of, okay, after this step we do this, after this we do this, after this we do this, oh, in this scenario we do this. Geometry is a lot of vocab and mingling together the vocab, okay? So our first section, our first chapter is very definition heavy. So we're going to have a lot of definitions, okay? So just kind of prepare for that. So these first three terms we're going to talk about are points, lines, and planes, okay? Now you guys have seen points before. You've seen them on a graph, okay? You've seen them on our XY coordinate plane. So the model of a point, what it looks like this. You have a dot and a capital letter. So this would be point P. So go ahead and in your notes, go and fill it out in your table here, okay? And it might be a good idea to write your name on your notes here as well to make sure you don't lose it. What was that, Schroeder?
Do we have to put point P?
Yep, I want you to put that in there.
Oh, so I put point S.
Oh, okay, that's fine then. Yep, so I didn't understand what you meant. You can put a different letter if you want, as long as it's a capital letter. Okay? So how do we draw it? It's drawn as a dot. It's drawn as a dot. That's what it looks like visually. Okay? And it's named by a capital letter. And it's very important it's a capital letter. You might be wondering, Mr. Cossel, why does it have to be a capital letter? And that's because we reserve lowercase letters for lines, which we'll talk about in a bit. Capital letters always represent a point, okay? Aubrey, a few years ago when she was in my geometry class, absolutely hated this and argued with me about it quite a bit.
I don't use capital letters.
Yes. Okay, Schroeder.
Is it cold in here or is it just me?
I think it's a little bit chilly, but I actually really like it. Okay, because yesterday I was quite warm. So in words or symbols, okay? So the symbols in the words. So in words, you can say it's point, P spelled out. You can spell out the word point.
P-E-E.
No, we don't have to though. Okay, so you just type point and then a capital letter. In the symbols though, you can just do the dot and a capital P, so point P. So those both mean the same thing. So if you were to write out a sentence and say point P, you can use either of these two, and it's the same thing. Now, I will always defer to using this one because it is shorter, and because it's less writing, and sometimes I'm lazy. Just kind of how it is. Okay? Some facts we know about this. One fact we know about it, it does not have a size or shape to it. And you might be wondering and saying, well, Mr. Cossel, yeah, it does have a shape to it. We see a circle filled in. Or it does have a size that looks to be rather small, okay? But that's just how we represent it. Okay? The actual point for it is kind of more of a theoretical thing, imaginary, so to speak. It actually doesn't have any size or shape. It's not kind of like the tip of a pencil or something like that has a point. Okay, it's different. It's going to be it's just this random thing floating around. But in order to mark it, we need to use something to draw it. So we use this dot. But it's not actually in real life like a dot. It's kind of a weird theoretical concept, so to speak. Okay. Schroeder, is it about geometry?
Oh no.
Okay, I'm going to have you wait a moment then, okay? Thank you. So we're going to move on to our next column and do lines. So lines. If we were to model it, it would look something like this.
Are you gonna put drawn as?
Oh, we'll talk about that. So some things about this. It's a straight line with two arrows. I have 2 points on this line, point A and point B, both with capital letters. And then I have a lowercase m as in monkey over here. A lowercase m as in monkey up on one of the sides of the line by the arrows.
Why?
Okay, I'll talk about that, yep.
Why?
So I'm thankful you have these questions, but we're going to talk about that. So when you draw this, the first one we drew was a dot. This one, we draw width. W with a slash means width, by the way. W with a slash means width. You can write out the word width if you want. With an arrowhead. At each end. Note-taking tip. I'll give these often. If you would rather write the symbol for at than the word at, that's fine. Okay? You guys can start learning how to take your own notes a little bit. And you don't have to write everything necessarily word for word. You can write what you need to understand it. Okay? We name it by either 2 points. We either use 2 points on the line to name it, or we use a lowercase letter. So we use one of 2 things there, and I put 2 dashes to know this is one thing we name it by, or the second thing we name it by. So we either use 2 points that are on the line to name it, or we use a lowercase letter. In words and symbols, if we were to name it, we can either say, write out the word line, and do line, capital A, capital B, because those are 2 points on the line. And you could say line AB.
What about lane?
Now you might be wondering, Mr. Costle, does the order matter? No. You could do line BA. And that's perfectly fine. You do line BA.
That's a bad word.
Okay? You could also do line lowercase m. You could do line lowercase m. So we can use that letter as well, a lowercase letter that we see up here on the side. Okay? Now if I were to do the symbols for these, line AB could look like this. You would do the capital A, capital B, and over top, you would draw like a small line, like a mini line draw over the top. And this would read line AB. So you read it the same way, whether it's written out or you use symbols. And the same thing for the next one. If you were to switch them around and do capital B, capital A, and with a little arrowhead over top of it, let me fix that. That would be line BA. Okay? And you could also do the same here with the lowercase m. And do line m. Okay? So words and symbols, they mean the same thing though. Just 2 different ways to write it. Now we have a couple facts about this. It has no width or height. It has no width or height. So you can't have like 2 lines being wide, one wider than another, or one taller than another. You don't have an existent width or height. The other fact we know is it's infinitely long. It's infinitely long. Okay? So we know 2 things about it. There's no width or height, and it is infinitely long. That's why we use those arrowheads, is that it goes on forever. So theoretically, don't write this part down. This code keeps going over here and all the way, keep going through to the second floor of the building and up into the sky. And this would go down here, all the way through, down here, and keeps going down, probably through my Gatorade bottle and through the earth. Okay? So theoretically, the line keeps going forever. But we can't draw that very well, can we? So we just put these arrowheads on there and say, okay, it keeps going though.
Until it reaches the bad line.
Okay. So it just keeps going. Okay, Katie, what's up? Yes, you made it. Your pass?
I don't know, can you?
Okay. Okay, we get out at 10. We get out in 14 minutes. Okay, what was that? Oh, that's what I heard. Okay, that's my bad. I thought I heard that. Okay, just double checking. Next thing we have is a plane. We have a plane, okay? A plane I'm going to draw as a four-sided figure right now.
Square.
Okay? It's not a square though. You can see it has a slight slant to it. Can I see it? Just to make sure. Dang dope and Liddy. Okay, my name has one L on it, by the way.
I know.
Okay. Now I'm going to put 3 points in here. I'm going to put point X, point Y. I'm going to put point Z in here. I'm going to put X, Y, and a Z in there. Points are capital letters. Okay? And then I'm going to put this little R down here, okay? And you're going to see it. It's kind of like a fancy R. Okay? Kind of like a fancy R. It's like an R, but with like 2 lines going behind it. Thanks, Aubrey.
Fail! Ultimate fail. You now get hit.
Okay. So, how is it drawn? It has a dot, arrowhead at each end. This is as a slanted, has to be slanted, four-sided figure. As a slanted, four-sided figure. How do we name it? Oh, great question. Okay, so we can name it two different ways. You can name it with any 3 points in the plane. So 2 points were a line. 2 points was for a line. 3 points would be for a plane. But these points can't. Yeah, very good. Can't be on the same line, which is the same thing as being linear. So they can't be on the same line. Okay? So they can't be on the same line. I need you to make sure that's on there. And the other way you can do it is a script capital letter. A script capital letter. And if you're wondering, Mr. Carlson, what is a script capital letter? It's basically just a fancier capital letter. To
A Greek letter.
what was that?
Greek letter.
No, Greek would be different. Okay, this one, it keeps thinking I'm typing, I'm right-clicking it, I'm not. There we go. Okay, so script capital letters. So that's why these are a little bit fancy there, and it has these little tails kind of going behind it there, because that's a script capital letter. So to use these two names, you can call it plane. That's awkward. X, Y, Z. That's naming it with the 3 points. It's naming it with the 3 points. Now with that, the order doesn't matter.
Z, Y, X.
So yeah, you can do those in any 3 ones. I hear Seth or Shooter over there doing some different ones as well, okay? So you can do any of them. ZYX, YZX, YXZ, it doesn't matter. As long as you have
XY.
those 3 points, it's the same name. Or you could do plain and then use your script R there. Okay? You just use your script R there.
I did all of them.
Okay? There's no symbols for this one. There's no symbols for this one, okay? And then for our facts for it, we have 3 of them, okay? So one is infinite. Oh my.
Oh God.
This thing's causing me trouble today. I need to look into it maybe. Oh my. Okay. Infinite. In all directions. I know, this thing's causing me issues.
It hates
I
you.
might have to have a talk with it later.
Want me to give it a talk?
I might give it attention.
Here, give me a talk. I'll
Yeah,
throw it
yeah,
against the
for all
wall. Maybe it'll
directions.
work then.
Okay, perfect. Maybe later, okay?
That's what I usually do. Throw something against
This
the wall.
one has no height or width as well, just like the line. So no height or width or height, either way you want to word that. And then it is a flat surface. It is a flat surface.
Is anyone else dying because of
So a good way to think about this, maybe, is a wall or the floor, okay? But pretending it goes on forever, okay? But you can't actually have something that goes on forever in
I
real
feel like
life.
the wall does go.
But in our geometry, we can, okay? So it goes on forever, and you can think of each of the things on the floor as points, okay, or lines. So right here, each of these is made up of a little individual point. Anywhere you could touch the floor would be a point. Anywhere you could touch the floor would be a point. But you can also see the lines running across the floor as well, okay? You see the lines running across the floor as well. So you might be wondering, Mr. Kossel, why does it say undefined terms? And I'm just saying, hey, that's an awesome question, math student. So points, lines, and planes are considered to be undefined. They are considered to be undefined. And that's just because they don't have defined lengths or dimensions. It's because they don't have defined lengths or dimensions, okay?
Oh, we have more.
And there are building blocks, and we're accepting these as is. So we accept these just to be true. You say, okay, if these are true, we're going to build everything else off of these things, okay? So we're going to have a few of these things where we just accept them as true, we build off them. So we're going to build off of these, as well as things we call postulates, okay? To define and prove other terms and theorems. So we say, based upon these things, we're going to define other things, okay? So what we're going to do now is just these 2 quick examples. So we're going to draw line JK. We're going to draw line JK. So if you were to have line JK, you can go back and look up your columns, your table, and think of, okay, if I have line JK now instead of AB, how would I draw that? Does anyone have a guess? Okay, Schroeder, what would you do?
Draw a line and put 2 points and then say JK.
Okay, and what else do I have to do with
Just
my line?
kidding.
Put arrows down. Very good, Tony.
Next one's just
So
kidding.
now I drew line JK. I drew a line with 2 arrows on each end, so that way we know it's a line in geometry, so it goes forever. And then I put a J and a K, both capital points on there. We know that the points J and K have to be on there, because that's how it's named. It's named the line JK, so those 2 points are all on the line. Next one, draw plane JKM. Also, name this plane B. Yeah, almost done for today. So for plane JKM, what kind of shape am I drawing?
Slanted four-sided shape.
Very good, slanted 4-sided figure.
Just straight.
Okay. And what points do I have to put in here? Who can tell me what points I have to put in here? Okay, Elizabeth. Very good. And they
Just
also
kidding,
capital
Mom.
letters. Doesn't matter where I put these points in here. No, not even close. You can put them anywhere in here you want. Yep, except for they just can't be on the same line. Very good, very good. Was that you, Ian, or the Dave? Okay,
He's taking down.
I got you. Okay, so now we have to put plain B. For the script letter B, we have to put it in the lower right-hand corner. Okay, so put it in the lower right-hand corner, so it's kind of like a B with a tail on it. Now we're actually going to call that good for our notes today. We're going to call it good for our notes today, okay? So you can put away your notes, and I'm going to talk about what we're going to do at the end of every single class right now in kind of this corona world.
Let me just throw it away.